Alright, this is IMAX Nation 1980 here, and I haven't done this kind of video in a long time. This is an upcoming Disney Thoughts video, and of course, it's going to be about every Disney film coming out and everything that's slated for the future up until, whatever, 2013, 2014 maybe. And of course, to start the video off, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which is coming out Friday. And, you know, I am going to see it, most likely in IMAX 3D, but thing is, why'd they opt to start another trilogy? I think having Pirates as a trilogy was a good idea, but it seems like Disney is pushing for a second trilogy of Pirates films, because I have read that they are going up to Pirates of the Caribbean 6, and I heard that the script for the fifth film has already been delivered to Disney. And tell me what you think of that. Do you think, they're going crazy, or if you think it's necessary? I mean, I understand that this series is extremely popular, for Disney at the worldwide box office. I predict that Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, even with 3D ticket prices, I don't think it's going to do that great here in the States. I think that it's going to, I don't even think it's going to hit the $300 million mark of the box office. Maybe somewhere between $250 million or $290 million. I see a Shrek 4 style decrease, because, Shrek Forever After was an underperformer. It didn't even make as much as the first Shrek, which, was released way back in 2001. So if you stack the ticket sales up, it's pretty weak. I predict that's what's going to happen to Pirates. But who knows? The movie itself could be alright. It's getting mixed reviews right now. We won't get, the final consensus until about Saturday or maybe even Friday. Usually by the weekend it comes in. But according to some of the early reviews, it's just another run-of-the-mill film. I've seen the trailers constantly. Almost every movie I've went to in the last 5 months or so has had a trailer for Pirates. Most recently I saw Thor, and that had the trailer for Pirates before it. So, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is coming out Friday, and, of course I'm going to say maybe I'll post a review on it. But tell me what you think. Do you think that going for another trilogy is just an awful idea, or do you think it's a good idea? Or do you think, hey, if it makes Disney money, then power to them? Thing is, I care about quality. I mean, I guess if you're in a big business, you're going to push for more films if they make you money, but for me, I want them to be quality films. I have to rewatch the trilogy sometime this week so I can catch it on Friday. But Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, we'll see what I think about that. And I predict that it will not hit $300 million at the domestic box office. Worldwide, well, this series is huge overseas, and with the 3D ticket prices, it's definitely going to be big overseas. Same thing with Shrek Forever After. I mean, it underperformed in the United States, but overseas it did very, very well. In fact, it was the highest grossing Shrek film in the series overseas. So Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides will probably be similar in its run, and it should reach $800 million worldwide, at least. It couldn't even hit $900 million. Post your box office predictions or whatever for Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides in the comments. So after Pirates comes Cars 2, which is the next big Disney Pixar film. And out of all the Disney Pixar films, this one has, I don't know how to put it, but there has been a lot of concern over the movie. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, of course, but there's been a lot of concern that Cars 2, might just be Pixar's first misfire. And the general internet consensus is that Cars is Pixar's worst film ever. Now, I'm not going to explain my theory on why I think people think Cars is the worst Pixar film ever. I think it's just as good as anything else they have done, but that's not the point. Cars 2, though, it almost seems like a cash grab, because if you think about it, the box office for the original Cars, it didn't really do a thing overseas. But with the international setting, it will definitely win some new fans overseas, and then maybe they could sell more toys. Maybe that's the purpose of the film. Or maybe, just maybe, director John Lasseter wanted to expand the universe, the world of Cars. I mean, that is a good idea. I mean, all we saw in the first Cars was Radiator Springs and, parts of America, including California. It would be nice to take the characters around the world and show them such. It seems that the Cars tunes, particularly Tokyo Mater, were pretty much, a prototype version of what this movie was going to be. Kind of like a testing short to see what the movie will look like. Because I bet they started production on this quite a while ago. And I do like the spy plot. I mean, it's a nice break from the first one. I mean, if it was a complete rehash, then there would be even more complaints. And I really like all the designs of the new characters. I think Pixar really outdid themselves there in that department. And as always, Pixar's character animation can't be beat. And visually, it's supposed to be Pixar's biggest film. Supposedly the London set had over 40,000 buildings, and you can go, if you haven't seen a trailer for it yet, look at the trailers. There is an incredible amount of detail, but that's the thing. It better have, a good story to support those visuals. I mean, at Pixar, the philosophy is story first and then everything else afterwards. And supposedly Pixar's been working very hard to craft, to perfect the story for a while. I heard the story wasn't very heartfelt and it was lacking, the heart that usually makes the Pixar films great, that usual Pixar magic. But apparently they found a way to reinsert it. Especially in the new trailer, they kind of hint at that. Particularly in the part in the trailer where Finn McMissile tells Mater that people aren't laughing with him, but laughing at him. And I heard that was going to be a more, more emotional scene in the movie. And, that could be good. I mean, I think the reason why the Pixar movies work so well is because they have a great story and they also have emotion in them too, particularly with Toy Story 3 Up and WALL-E in particular. And, people are probably expecting that from Cars 2. And Cars 2 will definitely be big at the box office regardless of, the doubt, because, kids are still going to eat it up. And, of course, if it's good enough for the adults, then it's going to do very well, because that's why the Pixar films work. They're made for family audiences. I mean, most people, will say they make kids films, but that is an insult to Pixar, as they make family films that can appeal to all ages. But I'm not going to explain the difference between family films and kids films. I did that on another video. You could just look it up. It's one of my Disney video collection videos. But bottom line is, if Cars 2 appeals on all fronts, then it will be another $300 million hit for Pixar, not to mention the 3D ticket prices and whatnot. And, of course, this and Pirates are going to be in both in IMAX 3D, so there you go. And worldwide, Cars 2 should reach around 700 million maybe. It'll be a good-sized increase from what the first film did overseas, which was about $461 million, I believe, which was one of the lower-grossing Pixar films in the international box office. So, Cars 2 opens June 24th, and if it turns out to be the first Pixar film I don't give a 10 out of 10, expect a very, very long review on that one.